This video is made for adult collectors because Yo Joe Soundwave is kinda dookie. I don't know why I just did that. So the G.I. Joe figures have been less than successful, I'd say. Megatron is very much outliving his shelf life unless they planned on having him out for a while. And Bumblebee exists. But one thing to note on these is Megatron came out and was not great at all, other than his alt mode. Bumblebee was definitely an improvement, though again, not the greatest robot mode, but the alt mode was great. And Soundwave here is an improvement over B, a major improvement, but it's still a great vehicle that turns into an okay robot. Noticing a trend here? These are usually revealed during G.I. Joe live streams with BMAC, not Transformers ones. And these toys nail the alt modes, like absolutely nail them. Yeah, these are more for a G.I. Joe targeted audience rather than a Transformers one. These are meant for us, kind of, but more so for the G.I. Joe fan base. And before anyone goes, who still likes G.I. Joe? Their HasLabs fund within 25 hours, and their last one hit 27,000 backers. So there are people who still like it. The brand wouldn't exist if nobody liked it still. This thing, starting in alt mode, is the Dreadnought Thunder Machine, and my goodness, is it a ridiculous but epic as hell vehicle mode. This is an amalgamation of several different vehicles, but the most identifiable one is the 1980s Trans Am because of the front, and lo and behold, it is an officially licensed GM product because that is an actual Pontiac logo on the front. And the box, which I can't find at the moment, does have a GM sticker on the back. I wasn't expecting that. I do want to get the toy hacks with the flaming chicken on the front. That is just, I need that. But this vehicle rocks. It's so cool looking. It's just goofy and 80s and like the best of the vehicles they've made so far for these toys, in my opinion. But we'll see how Cup turns out. He can seat Joe's, but I don't know. I kind of like the way they look in the box, honestly. They're unpunched and everything. I might just keep them in there sealed. And it does have place on the outside of the vehicle for Joe's to stand as well. Also, the detail on here is quite nice, and it really sells that old 80s toy feel with how the detail's done. And it's big, too. So, Soundwave's conversion is parts for me, kind of. Like, you have to take this off, which is like a shield thing, even though it's got holes in it. And then you got to take his gun off because it's his gun. Then you got to take this off because it's the cannon for his shoulder. And, like, these are usually normal for Soundwave because you got to take them off anyways. But, yeah, then you want to fold these sections down like that. Then you split the front, you pull the front section up and split the Trans Am. I still love how that's a Pontiac Trans Am. And then you fold this section in like so. It's supposed to click into place. There we go. There we go. Then you want to rotate this, bring this section out, and then you fold out the fist, and there you have an arm. Now, the one thing that scares me about doing this is when you're transforming it, this antenna, it's made of a material, so I can do this and it's not going to break. It does come out, but if you don't want to parts form that, so it's a bit strange. But anyways, you pull this section up, which also has a tendency to just pop out from there, which is not very good. And then take this and push. There we go. And bring that out like that. That's going to be his legs. You want to then fold out these sections like that, bring that out, fold that down, and then just sort of clip the foot into place. Do the same on this side, clip the foot into place, and then you want to fold this section. And now these go in a very specific order. These sections inside here. You bring that in first, and then you bring the other one in because they overlap each other a very specific way. Then you bring the hips up, rotate them around and down. Rotate the legs to be the correct orientation. The same on the side. Like that. Bring it around. Oops. Bring it around. Let's bring it up. Fold up the head. Bring this to just sort of sits there. Bring the arms down.
And now we do the parts formery pieces. You take the cannon, you plug it on top. You take the gun, you can plug it into his hand or on top. I prefer it in his hand. And then these split and can go here, or as well, they can go in his hand for shield mode thing. But yeah, that's Soundwave's conversion. You didn't see that. They went there. It's not interesting. It's fine. It's not like it's fun, but it's not horrible either. It's just not entertaining. That's pretty much, it's just basic. It's very basic.
So I really wish there was more engineering to that. I assume the reason it's not like that is because they wanted to preserve the look of the vehicle mode and not have too many lines in it. Sounds familiar. But the robot looks definitely a lot better than the last two. While Megatron looked like gun megs with just bits of his tank hanging off of him, B looked a bit more integrated into his alt mode. Soundwave is just a micro cassette recorder Soundwave with bits of Dreadnought hanging off of him. And I also have to say, this thing is like Commander size. It's massive. Soundwave here, and same with Megatron, feels like it would have been a much better solution if they were to just integrate with their alt modes rather than just wear them. I know they're identifiable like this, but I still feel like making the Dreadnought parts, the shoulder pads or something on the front, and then putting like the grill bits on his chest would have been a nicer thing. His legs are integrated, using the rear to fold out into legs and the seats to be feet, but the top half is just bits hanging off. And for the price of a Commander, I would have expected something like Commander-ish engineering, though he does come packed in with 2 G.I. Joes and friggin' Masterpiece Ravage. Like, what? I get where the budget goes. The Joes, the fancy box, the MP Ravage, the size of the toy, and obviously the toy itself and a number of stuff that you're used to with Transformers, but it still feels like a tough pill to swallow at that $90 US price. He's kind of hollow in places, not nearly as hollow as the last two in proportion to like their own bodies, but he still has his bits. And while the plastic feels a lot nicer than Megatron's, I still don't think it's perfect. Again, Armada Prime feels like a lot nicer to hold, even though comparing anything else about Armada Prime to this is kind of unfair, seeing that Armada Prime doesn't come with 2 fully retail ready sealed G.I. Joe figures.
His wheels just came off.
Soundwave can mount both guns on his shoulders or in his hands, and he looks okay wielding both of them. The weird machine gun thing looks odd in his hand. And that is such a nice head. Easily the best G1 Soundwave head I've seen in a while. Now let's talk about the little pack-in. MP Ravage. Yeah, this is a blue Masterpiece Ravage. There's no diecast because this is a retail toy, but it is the same exact mold, poses the same, is tooled the same, and is just nice to have another one of these. It's a mold I never thought I'd see come out of retirement again. Then again, we are getting Steelbane again. He also comes with a leash the Joes can like hold, but I've lost it and I honestly don't care because it's softish plastic. It feels kind of weird. He can store in Soundwave's chest with the push of a button, but the door itself is not spring loaded and feels a bit flimsy because of that. The button is spring loaded, but the door isn't. And other Masterpiece tapes do fit in him. And you can also fit MP Ravage into Masterpiece Soundwave. Like it's all interchangeable. It's the whole reason I bought this toy, because I wanted the blue Masterpiece Ravage. The reason for the backpack is because he can have the Joes stand back there and operate the cannons similar to...
That wasn't supposed to happen. So for the sake of articulation, I'm taking this off because the peg is not that strong, so it kind of likes to fall off. Soundwave, articulation-wise, head, ball joint, as well as this flap that doesn't actually tab in, but he has a ball joint, so you can tilt and look up and down and all that. It's actually quite expressive, the head. Love the head. Shoulders, do a full 360. They can go out. You can also unpeg it. Oops. Unpeg it to make them go all the way out if you want. But then pegging it back in is a bit of a faff. There we go. And also the shoulders don't really lock in that well, so like up here it tends to move quite a bit. It's kind of annoying. Bicep rotation. Elbow bend, which is ratcheted. It's very soft detents, but it is ratcheted. Nothing at the wrist, nothing at the waist due to the whole transformation thing there. Get back into place. Hip skirts can move up to accommodate ratcheted hips. They go forward and they go back. The backpack moves out of the way. It can go in and out. You have thigh rotation. It locks, but it doesn't lock very well. You have a 90-degree bend at the knee, nothing at the feet, unfortunately. However, the backpack is on a friction connection, so you can remove it if you don't want it there. So it does clean up a little bit better, but it does make the back look extremely hollow, so I like to just leave it clipped in back there. There we go. But yeah, his articulation is not, it's not fantastic. It's, again, with modern toys, like that articulation on something like this, I understand. This is a bunch of $12 toys that combine. Kind of hard. But on something like this, a commander priced a $90 giant toy, I would expect ankle tilts and a waist joint at least. It's a bit strange, and it's not fun to mess with as a robot, honestly. But this is built for these guys, right? It is built for Joe collectors. Like I said before, it's revealed on G.I. Joe streams. It's targeted more as the vehicle mode first, because that's what's advertised. Stand up straight, you moron. That's what's advertised everywhere. So it's made for vehicle mode first. So they're not really thinking about the Transformers fans, I don't think. When designing this, they think about the Joe fans, and the Joe fans probably don't have, well, a majority of them anyways, probably don't know what Combiner Wars Rewind is. They probably don't know what Core Class Volcanicus is, right? They're like, oh, a Dreadnought Thunder Machine that just also happens to be Soundwave, and it goes with my 3 3/4. Yeah, but it's pain.
So, should you get one? Well, for what, $90 US or something? That's like 130 Canadian. It has a lot of play value and is easily the best of the three so far, but it still feels thin and it's missing articulation, and the engineering just doesn't feel like it hits that 130 Canadian dollars. If you're a Joe fan, then yeah, this is a great solid vehicle. You get 2 exclusive Joes. It's simple enough to transform for those who aren't super into Transformers. And as a Transformers fan, it's cool, but it's not there yet. Hopefully Cup improves the formula a bit more. Like, come on, at least give him ankle tilts. I hope to see, because these apparently are selling well enough for them to keep making them, I hope they can progress to the point where they feel like I'm getting my money's worth, because I really don't feel like I'm getting my money's worth out of this, even with the GameStop discount I get with the Edge membership thingy, not sponsored. That'd be cool though, but not sponsored. It just doesn't quite feel like it's ready yet. It's like folding phones. They're still prototype things they're selling to people. They're not perfect yet, and it's just, I'm not buying one because of that. And these feel like that. They're not there yet. But that's my look at G.I. Joe Soundwave. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.